only do you remember that you are a living temple, that you could actually offer your body as an offering to the divine.
Welcome to Why Isn't Everyone Doing This? Today's episode is a bit different. We'll be sharing a powerful, guided exercise from Emily Fletcher's recent live transmission, Become the Temple. In this practice, you'll dance, breathe, and remember your body as a living altar. Find a space where you can move and then sit comfortably. And when you're ready, we'll begin.
So 10 being like my body feels like a temple. I know my body is sacred. I treat it with reverence and respect and awe. And I fill it with spirit and I love it and I am devoted to it and I allow it to be worshiped. If that is a 10, and 1 is like, oh, my body kind of feels like a dumpster at the moment, or like my punching bag where I am just mean to it and don't listen to it and I override it and I violate my boundaries. Like, just give me a sense of where you feel like you are on you and your body being a temple. And those of you who are just arriving, I'd like to know on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I really feel like my body is a temple and I treat it with respect and reverence and awe and I allow it to be worshiped and I allow the divine to flow through it. And 1 is like, man, I sometimes, well, not sometimes, but I override it. I'm mean to it. I judge it. I criticize it. I put junk inside of it. I wish it was different. I don't allow people to worship it. Like, where on that scale do you feel like you are? And no judgment. It's just a good to know as a starting place, because one of my desires for our time together is that at the end of this, that not only do you have the visceral experience of your own divinity, not only do you remember that you are a living temple, but that you turn up the dial on that divinity, that by the end of this experience, that you really remember yourself as sacred, remember yourself as holy, that you see that you could actually offer your body as an offering to the divine. Like, sometimes when I'm in prayer or meditation or pleasure practices, I will actually invite very specific, it's important to be specific. I will invite very specific energies or entities or deities to experience the unique pleasure of having a human body as an offering. And I like to think that that the gods and goddesses, that the unseen realms, that they need us as much as we need them, which I think is a fun way. Oftentimes we're like, oh, please, God, please this. And we think that we're just these little victims or like these little ants on human earth. But actually, I really like to think about the human and the divine as being in co-creation, that our left brain is our individuality and our right brain is our totality. So our left brain is our humanity and our right brain is our divinity. And so I always like to think of prayer, of our bodies, of visiting temples, that it's always like a 50-50 dance between the human and the divine. Okay, well, thank you all for being here. I'm so delighted to have you. I'm Emily Fletcher. I'm the founder of Ziva, and I want to say welcome to Become the Temple. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a dance. We're going to get in our bodies. That's one of my fastest ways, one of my favorite ways to really get into my body, to tune into that frequency of divinity, to allow the body to be a vessel and a channel for the divine to flow through it. There's a quote that says, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but I'm just going to share it for thought, is that a woman dancing is closer to God than a man meditating. And not to be like, gender inclusive. I think we all have masculine and feminine inside of us. And I am probably one of the biggest fans of meditation on the planet. Like, I really love meditation, but I love this idea that the feminine being embodied and dancing is very close to the divine. And we're going to do both today. We're going to dance and we're going to meditate. We're going to play with our masculinity and our femininity, and all genders are welcome here. So shout out to those of you who identify as male and masculine. It's brave coming into this space with so much feminine and female energy. Bravo. We're really happy to have you. So we're going to dance, and then we're going to ground. We're going to do an opening prayer, and I'm going to walk you through a visualization called Become the Temple. And this was inspired by something that I did with Zach Bush in the Khafre pyramid in Egypt. So the small pyramid in Egypt, maybe 2 years ago. I was there with Robert Edward Grant, took us on a pilgrimage, and Zach just went into his channel as he is wont to do, and it was really inspiring. So I want to give credit that was the original inspiration for this. And then once we do that, once you get to like drop your consciousness inside of your very own body and kind of look around from the inside out of remembering your body as a temple, then we're going to go through like your actual 3D life and your day and look at all of the ways that you might turn up the dial on your own divinity and amplify this experience of your body being a temple, from what we put in our bodies, from the way that we adorn our bodies, from the way that we allow others to treat or not treat us, to the way that we create our space around us. Okay, so without further ado, I would invite you to stand up, take a big deep breath in. Kristen, do you feel good to be our DJ? You feel like you can hit us with some demon hunters? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen it. Those of you who are parents probably know. But I think this movie is such a profound parable for our times. I'm so into it. But it's all about finding your patterns and loving them and singing your voice out into the world. So we're going to dance into our bodies, K-pop demon hunters. And Kristen, if you can just crank it for us.
To believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived 2 lives, tried to pick both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
I invite you to just connect with your body. Notice where you feel the most alive, where you feel the most stuck, and breathing right into your heart, right into your body. Taking a big inhale.
Now I'm shining like I wanna be.
Breathing light into every cell in your body. That you are like your 6-year-old self. You maybe get a fake microphone. Imagining you're on your own stadium. You just skydived out of your own private jet. And it's you on stage giving it your all. Yes. Big inhale, breathing into your heart, imagining white golden light pouring down through the top of your head as you inhale, and as you exhale, exhaling on the sound of the sound of God.
And finally live like the girl they all see. No more
feeling your feet on the ground,
shining like
letting this energy and this life force bubble up through your whole body, through each chakra. We're going to do one more chorus, so giving it your all, your 10 out of 10. Don't worry about how you look. Dance for you. Dance to feel good. You can sing too if you want. Your whole body radiating with golden light. So good. Placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, taking a big breath in and exhaling on the sound of the sound of God. And when you're ready in your own time, we can start to make our way back to a seat, celebrating your body, thanking your body, giving thanks for the very fact that we can dance. So I promise I'm not going to do a 2-hour lecture on K-pop demon hunters, but I do have a 7-year-old son, and we watch this movie a lot, and we do dance parties to it a lot in my living room, so it's very much in my consciousnness. But this movie, it really is such a parable of like people coming together about seeing the patterns inside of yourself, being seen, allowing yourself to be seen all the way, speaking your truth, and then emanating the frequency of acceptance and love of yourself, of your own body, of your own patterns, and then transmitting that out on the planet. And so that is a lot of, it's a lot of what we're doing on these pilgrimages, and it's a lot of what I think is needed on the planet right now. So even though it might seem like a silly little kids movie, I think it's quite profound. I think there's a reason why it's gone platinum. For me, it was Broadway show tunes. I would sing Phantom of the Opera. I used to believe that I was Christine Daae on like, and I would just sing Phantom of the Opera, and I would dance all those show tunes. And I was little. Yes, Elena knows. Oh, okay. Thank you all for being here. I'm really, really excited for today. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for offering your time and attention to your own body as a temple. Okay, so we're going to drop into a guided visualization, this experience of becoming the temple. And I invite you to sit with your back supported and your head free. Turn your phone on silent. Turn off any notifications on your computer. This is not going to be too long, probably do somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. But I invite you to really give this your full attention, like really be fully here, so that you can receive the most out of this. And then from here, I'm going to share about why we're doing Greece, the specific frequencies I think that are emanating out of Greece, why I think it's important that we go and receive the codes from those sites and offer our temples and our pleasure and our love to those sites, and how it links in with this larger puzzle. Okay, so just placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, taking a big breath in. Exhaling on the sound of ah, the sound of God. Ah. Really good. This time breathing all the way down into your pelvic bowl, all the way down into your root. Exhaling again on the sound of ah. Ah. In almost every name of God, there is the sound ah. So you can keep doing that a few times in your own time, inhaling all the way down into your root, into your pelvic bowl, and exhaling on an ah. There's God, Yahweh, Allah, Buddha, Muhammad, Ra, ah, ah, ah. So feeling that divinity through your sound, letting your voice vibrate through your larynx, through your face, through your lungs, feeling this vibration of this sound and frequency of God flowing through your body. So beautiful. And allowing the eyes to droop closed if they haven't already, letting your body soften, setting the intention that each breath brings in more light, more golden energy. And with each exhale, that your body softens and surrenders even more. Inhale, filling the body, this temple, with light. And each exhale, letting your shoulders drop, letting your heart open, letting your belly soften and open, letting your muscles relax. And then tuning into the frequency of the earth and the land where your body is located. Have you said hello to the land today? Have you connected energetically to this beautiful mother, lover earth of ours? And just like as if you were with a lover, saying hello to their elbow is different than saying hello to their cheek. So if you're in Nebraska, it would be different than if you're in Africa. So just tuning into this beautiful energetic frequency of Gaia, of Mother, Lover, Earth, saying hello to her, and then specifically asking for permission, for consent to connect to her elbow or her knee or her cheek or her forehead, wherever you are located in physical space, and seeing if she would delight in you connecting to this geographic location. And just seeing if your body feels a yes or a no. There's no right or wrong. Honoring the no if you hear a no and keeping your energy in your own body. But if you hear and feel a yes, then I invite you to imagine two beautiful golden snake-like cords coiling down from your heart, spiraling down from your heart through your root, through your feet, penetrating through the earth, penetrating through the skin, the surface, the texture of the earth, and then spiraling down these two beautiful golden snake-like cords, spiraling down all the way into the crystalline core of the planet. Ooh. Really good. And then as you inhale, breathing up that crystalline frequency from the earth up into your bones, remembering that your bones are, in fact, also crystals. And feeling this simultaneity, this connection, this amplification between your electromagnetic field and the electromagnetic field of the earth. Creating coherence, connection, harmony. With each inhale, breathing up this crystalline frequency from the earth into your bones, allowing them to move from carbon more into crystal. And as you exhale, anything that is not serving you, any fear, any tension, any stress, any rage, any anger, any self-doubt, any unworthiness, can you allow that to just melt out through your body, through these cores, and let it be returned to the earth where she has an infinite ability to metabolize and compost this energy. Imagining all of our golden cords penetrating in through the surface of the earth in all of our different locations and connecting like a mycelial network of energy and light and frequency through the earth. Creating our own energetic grid right now. Amplifying each other's connection to our bodies, to the earth. Really, really good. And then allowing your awareness to come back up into your body. And allowing these golden cords to spiral back up through your inner channel, up through the entire chakra system, root to crown. And then allowing these golden cords to spiral up through the top of your head, shooting out through your crown chakra, and connecting all the way up into your unique soul star. All the way up to where that place where you have come from. Pure energy, pure light, pure stardust. Tuning into that celestial frequency that is uniquely yours. And then feeling the simultaneity of being rooted and anchored down into the earth and connected up into the heavens. Remembering yourself as a vessel and as a channel, and from this place, activating a very, very powerful iridescent bubble of light around you, your own unique toroidal field of love. Filling this beautiful iridescent bubble of light around you with the frequency that which you would love to feel. Awe, wonder, possibility, learning, curiosity, divinity. We are so held, so protected. And then activating an even more powerful golden ring of light around all of us and everyone that will tune in, past, present, and future. So that every single person is so held, so protected. And this transmission is not only protected, but supported and amplified so that it creates a beacon so that the exact right souls who are ready to hear this message receive it, receive the exact medicine that they are ready for, no more, no less. And that this transmission attracts the most beautiful, fun, coherent, curious, delightful, magical humans who are ready, willing, and able to bring their temples, their bodies on this pilgrimage to Greece, not only for their own learning, not only for their own advancement, but also so that we attract the exact right frequencies that are needed to reactivate the grid on the planet, to light up this grid, and to both give and receive to these ancient sites, these ancient temples, to give them our pleasure, our offerings, our love, our attention, and to receive these ancient codes that are uniquely embedded into this location. For ours and everyone's highest good. Calling on your guides, your future self, your inner child, that little kid who wanted to be an explorer and delight and see and discover everything that there is to discover on this magical floating rock in space. So beautiful. Really good. And now allowing your awareness to drop even deeper inside of your own body, your own temple. Imagining your body as a Matryoshka doll, those Russian nesting dolls. So allowing your awareness to first rest on the skin, on the outer layer, really feeling this boundary between your internal and external worlds. Feeling the air on your skin, your clothes against your skin, your hair against your neck, the breath entering and exiting the nostrils, the temperature of the sun on your skin, really feeling this outer layer of the temple, the gates of the temple. And with each breath, allowing your awareness to soften in, this time surrendering in one layer deeper into your muscles. With each breath, nourishing the muscles, letting them soften, and exhale. Breathing pure love into these muscles, letting anything that is not the frequency of pure unconditional love return back to its original source. Really good. And on the next breath, allowing your awareness to connect to the tendons, the sinew, the fascia, the casing around the muscles, filling them with so much beautiful white golden light. Any old injuries, any old trauma stored in the fascia, sending so much love to it as you breathe in and as you exhale, letting anything that is not pure unconditional love return back to its original source, down through those cords at the bottom of your feet, back to the earth. So good. Now allowing your awareness to rest into your bones, the marrow, the carbon, the crystal, all of the elements that make up your bones, breathing in and filling that with pure light. Letting them start to vibrate again with that crystalline frequency. And just like you would activate a crystal, sending your breath into your bones, seeing if you could even let your bones start to vibrate with pure white golden light and energy. Really good. And now descending a layer deeper inside of yourself, tuning into your organs, scanning all of your organs, filling them with love, pure white golden energy. Your spleen, your stomach, your liver, your kidney, your gallbladders, your intestines, your lungs, your heart. Really allowing each organ to radiate with pure light, pure love, pure golden energy. And any stuckness, any stagnant energy, anything that your body is holding, offering the prayer that anything that is not pure, unconditional love return back to its original source so that your organs can function in unison and in harmony. Calling on your guides, asking for their support, and allowing your body, this temple of your body, to restore back to its original blueprint of radiant health, vitality, really good. And now allowing your awareness to drop even deeper beyond the matter, beyond the organs, the skin, the bones, the tissues, and into the very core of yourself, into the very inner core. The ember of the flame in the center of your own heart. We would say in Sanskrit, the Atman, the pure self. Allowing your awareness to rest in the very core of you, the very center of you. That pure consciousness that animates every cell in your body. Letting it radiate with pure conscious light. And feeling that Atman, that ember of consciousness, feeling that connection from that light inside of you, connecting all the way back to the very first light, to the very first moment of the Big Bang, the very first time that the unmanifest became manifest. That original source light from that central sun. Feeling that connection between the light at the very center of your heart and the original source light. Remembering that they are not separate. That you are the universe. That we are all God pretending to be human. Remembering that according to the Vedas, there is only one thing and we are all it. And that one thing is consciousness. That one thing is pure love. And just like there are many waves on a giant ocean, feeling ourselves now as many waves of individuality on this giant ocean of totality, on this giant ocean of consciousness, of pure love, and feeling yourself undulate between wave and ocean, individuality and totality, feeling your awareness undulate between this central light in the very center of your heart, and then expanding out into the outer layers of your skin and noticing that you feel more individual, more human, as you allow your awareness to drift outwards into the outer layers of the Matryoshka doll called self. And then as you allow your awareness to collapse in on itself, contracting into the very center, to the very core, to the very Atman, to the pure love, pure consciousness, seeing if you feel more connected to the divine, more connected to pure source. Tapping into this pure life force flowing through your body from the top of your head to your root. Really good. And with this connection to source re-established, with this remembrance that there is only one thing and we're all it, I invite you to allow your awareness to rest down, 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 as if you could take a journey inside of yourself and actually allow your awareness, your consciousness to rest like it's lying in a hammock. And that hammock is your own pelvis, your own pelvic bowl. It's almost like you're like a little explorer, cave diving inside of the depths of yourself and imagining that you could actually lie down, resting with your head supported and your legs up, reclining in the very bowl of your own pelvis. Feeling yourself so held by these newly charged up crystalline bones. Your pelvis, this seat of your creativity, of your creation energy, of your life force. And letting yourself soften and relax and surrender, feeling so held by your own bones, by your own body, by your own structure. And allowing your body to rotate so that your head, so your awareness is at the base of your spine. And taking a look up, like opening your eyes inside of this temple, this internal temple, and allowing your awareness and your internal sight to travel all the way up the spinal column, all 33 vertebrae, all 33 rungs, each vertebra having a new frequency, a new flavor of consciousness, a new code. And as your awareness rests and relaxes in the base of your pelvic bowl, and as you imagine looking up this beautiful column of light that is your spinal column, imagining yourself so wrapped by white, golden light and energy, this Kundalini spiral, the snakes of the Ida and the Pingala, this white and golden light spiraling and wrapping around your awareness, around this column of your spinal cord. And then seeing and feeling your ribs as the buttresses of a cathedral. So could you imagine your own rib cage, like the architecture of the most beautiful cathedral, the most beautiful temple you could imagine? And feeling how strong these ribs are, how beautiful these arches are. And remembering a time that you saw the most beautiful cathedral or the most beautiful temple that you've ever seen on earth, how it took your breath away, the amount of devotion and creativity and care that went into building that. And can you feel that same awe, that same reverence for your own body, for your own rib cage? And then underneath these beautiful arches of your rib cage, tuning into the frequency of your heart. This intricate, powerful, pulsing temple of love right inside of your own body. And allowing that frequency of love and your awareness to travel up the spinal column into the throat, imagining your voice, your sound, your song as the loudspeaker. And just like there's a call to prayer 5 times a day in Islam, can you imagine your throat as its own loudspeaker, projecting the prayers, projecting the frequency of gratitude out through your throat chakra? And allowing your awareness to travel up into the skull, inside of the crown, taking a look around this magnificent neural network, all of the electricity and the light and the neurons and the electrons and the nerves firing and wiring together, seeing the brain not as matter, but as vapor. It's so malleable. And almost seeing it like a lightning storm, as if there was a light show being projected on the top of your temple. And then allowing your awareness to travel up to the very crown, to the Shishunya, to this lotus flower. And imagining that your temple has a giant skylight at the top of it. And then this skylight, pure sun, this golden white light can pour down from the heavens, down through your crown, and saturate every single cell in your body, every single nook and cranny of your body as a temple, being saturated, nourished, enlightened, with this gold and white light from the sun. Really good. And as you start to bring your awareness back into you relaxing in the pelvic bowl, resting in the hammock of your own root, allowing your awareness to descend down beneath the temple into the ancient caves, the ancient tunnels beneath the earth that is your legs, your knees, your calves, your feet. And then tuning into the frequency of the earth. Why was this temple built in this location? What are the energetic overlaps? What are the like ley lines or the energetic meridians that overlap in the earth where your temple is located? Really good. And allowing your awareness to ascend up out of these caves, these underground chambers, and coming back into your awareness, resting in the pelvic bowl, taking in the magnificence that is your body, your temple. And from this place of remembrance, asking your body, how would you love to be honored? How would you love to be worshiped? And just like people put fruit and flowers on the altar inside of temples, really asking your body this divine intuition, what types of foods would feel like a divine offering to nourish this vessel? And letting this become a bit more practical now that you've established this temple frequency in your body, going through these different areas of your life and starting with the food, because we do become what we eat. So we want to eat high frequency, colorful, beautiful foods that come from the earth, that nourish our cells. We want to bless our food before it enters our temple. But right now, from an intuitive place, asking your body, is there any type of food that would serve you, that would feel nourishing? Are there any types of foods that I'm bringing into the temple that you would like me to stop, that do not feel nourishing? Really good. And now tuning into the decoration of the temple, the adornment of the temple, both internal and external, and asking the temple, how would it love to be adorned? How would it love to be decorated? Is there a certain type of clothing or fabric or color that would delight this temple? Is it silks or linens or reds or purples? Is it comfort? Is it jewels? Just tuning into your unique body, your unique temple, and getting curious. How would it love to be adored? And tuning into the sounds, the songs. Any good temple likes music, frequency. And so just tuning in, is there any songs, any music, any words that this temple would love to emanate? Is it time to start writing poetry or singing songs or showering yourself or someone else with praise? And finally, tuning into the very life force, the creation energy, the thing that keeps the lights on inside of the temple. What would bring this temple more pleasure, more life force, more creative energy? Is it movement? Is it lovemaking? Is it pleasure? Is it dance? Is it baths, massages? But how could you amplify the pleasure and the life force inside of the body to turn up the light even brighter? Really, really good. Taking a moment to celebrate yourself for taking this time, this beautiful journey that was much longer than I anticipated, for thanking your body for becoming and receiving this temple transmission, and asking your body, your temple, if there's any other messages that it has for you. As we start to allow our awareness to expand out from this pelvic bowl to our hearts, starting to allow our awareness to expand out, this divinity to expand out, this divinity to travel out all the way into our skin, into our eyes, into our hands and our feet. Saying thank you, thank you, thank you to this body. And with keeping the sense of connection to the divine, the sense of honoring of your body, we can start to bring our awareness into the room and into the present moment. Remembering that the pathway to the divine for the feminine is through the body. Really good. And in your own time, whenever you're ready, we can start to slowly, gently open the eyes. Yeah. Good job. Good job. High five. I'd love to just take a moment to hear what that was like for you. What was surprising? What was new? What did you learn? Did you receive any messages from your body? Was anything surprising? Any foods, any adornment, any things that would bring it pleasure? So, there's biohacking, and I am a biohacker. I would consider Ayurveda the original biohack. But there is no one size fits all for everybody, right? All of our trauma is different. All of our lineage is different. Our times of the month is different. Our phases of life are different. And so really tuning into this ability to listen to our bodies is really beautiful. I think this is something you could practice on your own, just taking some time in the morning, placing your hand on your body, maybe a hand on even on your sex, and just listening. Hi, temple, hi, body. What would delight you today? How can I honor you today? So thank you for joining me for that. I know that some of you might have been here just to receive the transmission. And if that is you, I hope that you enjoyed it. But now I'm going to transition into sharing some of what I've learned over the last few years, and why I'm feeling so inspired to be doing these pilgrimages and to visit these different temples and sacred sites around the planet. And part of it is for us as individuals to receive the codes from the temples so that our bodies can start to vibrate and incorporate the codes from the different temples. For example, like we just got back from Egypt. And so if you go to the Isis temple, it's like your body receives those Isis codes, which is the divine mother, the goddess of sex and magic. And that is a very different frequency than the Hathor temple, which is also divine feminine, but it's like a different fractal. It's like the different face of the divine. And the Hathor temple is like this very gentle, very nurturing, very loving, very erotic feminine. And so there's something about the give and exchange. If you go in reverence and you go in listening and you go with an offering, then the temple sort of like gives back to you, and you can receive these codes. You can receive this vibration in your body. And I'm very interested in what happens for us individually, and then also what happens when we start to bring people together at these sacred sites and do activations, meaning that we get into coherence with ourselves and each other, and we hold a vision for the planet, that we hold a vision for the birthing of the new earth, because it's not news. It's not a surprise that we are in a time of transition, like very, very powerful and intense transition. And I think as we go into 2026 and 2027, that intensity and speed is going to amplify. And so rather than try and resist it or try and stop it, or bemoan it or hold on to what was, I think that we as meditators and we as pleasure practitioners, we really want to put our attention on what is coming next. Like, what is the new earth? How do we architect what is coming next? And I think that we don't have to invent it from scratch. We don't have to start over, that there are clues hiding in plain sight. And I think that we have had things that would resemble planetary paradise or utopia here on earth. And I think that the clues to having that are built inside of these temples. And it feels like each civilization, each location has different codes, different keys to that. And so I'm on a bit of a quest right now to visit these different sacred sites. And so part of this level 3, part of this new birthing of Ziva, is that we're going to be doing like 3-month advanced masterminds where I'm teaching advanced Vedic practices, advanced meditation practices, advanced pleasure practices, to prepare us to not only make offerings at these temples, but to receive the powerful and potent transmissions from these temples, and also to sort of start to weave together this planetary grid. So if you think of the earth as a human body, just like our body has energetic ley lines in it, our body has meridians in it. So if you've ever gone to the acupuncturist, they're putting the needles on the energetic meridians in the body. Well, the earth has the same thing. The earth has its own energetic meridians, and those are called ley lines. And where those meridians or where those ley lines intersect are often places where temples are built. It's often places where sacred sites exist. And what's fascinating is if you look back even 16, 17,000 years ago, there would be sacred sites, Neolithic goddess worship caves, especially in Greece and in Crete. There's like ancient structures and caves with these like women, breasts out, holding 2 snakes, giant vulvas, like carved into the earth. And it's very different than how we see divinity in our sort of modern patriarchal, dogmatic doctrine view of the divine. This is like much more primal and feminine and erotic. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited to go to Greece is that you feel this balance of masculine and feminine, and specifically in Crete, which we're not going to, but Crete is one of the places where there was a matriarch on, like one of the most recent and most well-documented matriarchies on the planet. And by the way, matriarchy is not reverse patriarchy. A matriarchy is when you have an equal balance of masculine and feminine in power, and which I think is interesting. But actually, transitioning into Layla, part of why we're doing Greece, why Greece is the inspiration for this mastermind and this next pilgrimage, is that Layla and I went on a priestess pilgrimage. I think about 2.5 years ago, we went to Greece. And this pilgrimage was very much inspired by the book, The Immortality Key. And if you haven't read that, it's written by Brian Marescu, and I highly recommend it. I think this would be a great preparation for this mastermind and pilgrimage. But Brian Marescu is brilliant. He's like straight, sober, married lawyer, and spent 10 years researching in the Vatican Library and the private papal library. He got access to the Pope's private library, and he spent 10 years researching basically Greece, and specifically a place called Eleusis, where they had these Eleusinian mysteries happening. So for 3,000 years, every year they would have a festival. It would be like the Eleusinian mysteries. And if you went, you could not speak about what happened. It was punishable by death if you spoke about it, but anyone could go, men, women, slaves, but you could only go once, and you couldn't talk about it. And they would say that you go to Eleusis to die before you die. And they would say that you haven't really lived until you've been to Eleusis. Now, recently, the UN named Eleusis the cultural capital of Europe. It's 45 minutes outside of Athens, which is where we're going to start our pilgrimage. For, again, 3,000 years. And it would be like a month-long journey. Like people would travel and they would go, and apparently like no one really knows. But Layla and I sort of dropped into medicine space there, and we were sort of intuiting and feeling into what happened. And it feels like there were fertility rituals happening. But what they do know now, because of Brian Marescu's research, is that these women, these priestesses, were serving medicine. They were serving ergot, which is a precursor to LSD. And they were taking people into these very heightened states of consciousness. And they would go there to sort of die before you die, which really to me means like dissolving the ego and going into these psychedelic, godlike states. And what Brian hypothesizes is that now the Eucharist, or like the receiving of the body and blood of Christ, when you take the wine and the crackers at church, or now the grape juice, that is really a euphemism for what was happening in these rituals, where people were actually receiving the sacrament of these medicines from the earth. So it wasn't just ergot, it was also, they were serving like mycelium wine. And they've done now research where you can go into the chalices that are in Eleusis, and you can now prove that is what they were serving. There's some, I don't know what type of scans they're doing, but they can actually go into the vessels themselves. And also what Brian found in the papal and Vatican libraries backs this up. So all of this is in this book, The Immortality Key. But Layla and I went on our own pilgrimage to sort of like tune into our own European ancestry of these priestesses serving medicine and doing fertility rituals. And the thing that shifted for me the most in visiting Greece, and specifically the sacred sites we're going to be visiting in April, was that not only were these women not burned at the stake, not only were these women able to do this in public, but there were entire temples built to it. There were entire stadiums built to honoring these transmissions, honoring what the wisdom that was coming through. So in Delphi, which is one of the places that we're going, you probably heard about the Oracle of Delphi. It wasn't just one woman. It wasn't just one woman with gifts. For, again, 3,000 years, there were hundreds and hundreds of oracles. And there's like a crevice in Delphi, and there's vapors that come up from the earth at certain times of the year. And so these women who had done lots of work on themselves, lots of practices, they would receive these vapors. They would go into heightened states. They would go into very high states of consciousness. And then from this state where they were connected to the divine, where their body was becoming their own temple, generals, heads of state, religious leaders, presidents, kings were going to receive counsel from these oracles. And this to me is very, very important. And I think that it is one of the things that is desperately needed on the planet right now is the feminine counsel. And if you look at most of the leadership on the planet, the people who control the most money, the people who are controlling politics, the people who are controlling the technology on the planet right now, there is not a feminine counsel. Oftentimes there's not a wisdom counsel at all. And so I'm very interested in how do we start to restore the masculine and feminine on the planet. And I think that that starts by restoring the masculine and feminine inside of ourselves. And I also think that it happens from us all plugging directly into source and having a counsel, right? Like all of us have light and all of us have shadow, right? And if we don't have people that we trust who are connected to their own source, calling us up into integrity, then we can allow our shadow to sort of run the show. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited for us to go to Delphi, is to tune into this oracular wisdom where we get to awaken our own inner oracle, our own inner knowing. And so instead of like always checking social media or always researching or always looking for the answers or the healing outside of ourselves, we can start to find that wisdom inside of ourselves. And from that place of divine connection, help each other to have a counsel. So the thing that changed for me, like besides, like I did experience when I first went to Eleusis, we did a ceremony. And when I came out of it, the first thing I said to Layla was like, Layla, it's amazing with your eyes open. And it's amazing with your eyes closed, which is a very silly and sort of high thing to say. But what I meant by that and what was coming through is that it felt like, hey, yes, this life, like, wow, like, look at all of the outrageous beauty happening around us all of the time. The water, the clouds, the sky, the trees, our own hands. Like, it's amazing with your eyes open. This life thing is amazing. But it's also amazing with your eyes closed. Meaning, like, what if death is just the next evolution? What if death is just an amplification of whatever state of consciousness that we're in life? And I don't know, because I haven't died. I know many of you might have had near-death experiences, or you might have more visceral experience than I do. But I really love the idea that to think of death as this ultimate transcendence. And one of the things that we do in meditation is that we practice dying. We practice moving beyond the identity. We practice moving beyond the left brain and into the right. We practice moving beyond individuality and connecting to totality. And so when we do that on a small scale every day in the meditation, and then we do that on larger scales inside of ceremonies or inside of witnessing temples, which, by the way, temples can very much be their own psychedelic journeys. We saw that very much in Egypt. It was a powerful and profound psychedelic experience, even though we were stone cold sober. There is a sort of ego dissolution that happens and a reconnection to that which cannot be named. Last thing I'll share, and then I'll transition into the actual details of this mastermind and this retreat. But when Layla and I went to Eleusis, there's a big thing called the Telestrian, and this is like where they would do the rituals, is where they would do the practices. And there was a big like cement thing, and there was like a red piece of it. It almost looked like the iron ore inside of this rock. It wasn't cement, it was rock. It was natural. It looked like it had been oxidized. And so there was just this red, and it almost looked like this beautiful vulva that was bleeding, and there was like red coming out of it. And I just felt drawn to it. And I went and I sat in front of this beautiful yoni in the side of the earth. And I just opened myself to her. And I was there for probably 2 or 3 hours. By the way, we had the place to ourselves. It was just me and Layla and one security guard. So those of you who listened to the podcast, there's like one security guard that was very triggered by me. And anytime I would like go into Eros, he would like blow his whistle. And I decided to just take that as like applause. So anytime he would blow his whistle, I would just really start feeling myself even more. But no one was like looking at my hoo-ha, right? Like it was just us. I was just facing I don't even like an earth wall, like a wall of earth with this red coming out of it. And it was just like we were communing. It was like creation to creation, like feminine to feminine. And then the weird thing is that the next day, Layla and I went to record the podcast, and I went to play some Eleusinian music just to like get us in the vibe. And I put into Spotify, I put Eleusis in. And the first thing that came up was Terence McKenna, who some of you know is like an orator on the subject of psychedelics. And he was talking about Eleusis and the Eleusinian mysteries. And he said in about the 1400s, people started getting obsessed with Eleusis and what was happening at these mysteries there. And he said, yeah, the best thing that they can say, because nobody knows really what happened at Eleusis, but their best prediction is that they were doing some sort of a light show, some sort of like a laser light show. And they were just putting like female anatomy in the sky. And he was making fun of it. He was like, so their best prediction of what was happening in Eleusis was like a peep show. And I was like, oh, that's true. And you totally missed the point, at least according to my body. Like, so I think it's possible that they had some sort of like giant monuments to this like original creatrix creation source from the place from which all of us have come. From this, like, matrix, right? It's the mother, it's the matrix point between the unmanifest and manifest. This is what's inside of our holy temples for many of us. And I think, I don't know, but my intuition is that that was something that had something to do with the festivals and rituals and rites of passage that were happening in Eleusis. So that is going to be day 2 of the pilgrimage. So I'm going to transition now. So if you're interested in learning more about level 3 and this mastermind and this pilgrimage, I'm going to go into that now. And if that's not for you and you can't come, then like full permission to leave. But those of you who are going to stay, I'd love to have you here, and I'd love to invite you on this journey so that everyone there has a base of knowledge, so that we are speaking the same language, and so that we can really go into the more advanced realms. And on this at-home retreat, you would receive whatever is your next initiation, whatever is your next step on the Ziva progression. So if you've done Ziva online, then you would receive your Ziva Live mantra. If you've done Ziva Live, then you would receive your advanced technique mantra. If you've done advanced technique, you would receive the next advanced technique. And that would be the mantras themselves. And then we're also, for the first time ever, I'm going to teach something called Mastering the Siddhis. So Mastering the Siddhis, Siddhis. This is a practice that I learned during my teacher training. And it's really very profound and very beautiful. And this is, in Mastering the Siddhis, you receive not a mantra, but a sutra. And so this is something that you add to the end of your meditation practice. And they're Sanskrit words, and they have different meanings. And you say them, and it's a bit more active than in the meditation, which is very much about letting go, but you're basically like suturing in different qualities, different characteristics. So it's like, if the meditation is a de-excitation tool, if the meditation is a stress relieving tool to clean out the temple, to remove stress from the temple, Mastering the Siddhis is starting to bring in certain frequencies that we want to install, things like kindness, compassion, strength. And so we build those onto the end of the practice. We'll likely everyone will already be initiated into Ziva magic, so they'll have the pleasure practices, but my desire is that we actually get to experience those together. And then we'd be meeting every other week. It'll be, I think it's Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time is the time, but I'm sure all of this is on the information somewhere. So then we're going to actually take the pilgrimage. So you would fly into Athens on April 12th. Again, all this is in writing, but we're going to start in Athens. So on day 1, we're going to start in Athens at the Acropolis at either sunrise or sunset. And the thing I love about Greece, and my friend Marina pointed this out to me. Marina was in Egypt with me, and actually we're going to be staying at her retreat center called Euphoria, which I'll talk about in a moment. But the thing that Marina pointed out to me is that Greece is one of the only modern cultures that still is very much not only honoring, but intertwined with and a living example of the ancient cultures. Like in a lot of places, it's like there's reverence for the ancient, there's reverence for the indigenous, but it's been separate. But in Greece, she said it's like we consider ourselves like living avatars of these Greek gods and goddesses. And so it's weaved into the modern culture. And I think that that's really profound and palpable there. And the Acropolis, if you haven't been, it really feels like this intermediary between the human and divine. It's like this giant temple built on this mountain, and it's really exquisite. So we'll start in Athens at the Acropolis, and then on the next day we'll actually go to Eleusis. So this place where I was mentioning where these festivals were happening, where the Eleusinian mysteries were going on, we'll go to Eleusis. And I don't think it's possible to get it privately, but prayers up. Layla and I had it privately, but there's always sections and places where you can go. And my prayer, my intention would be that we could find a space where we could go into ritual, where we could go into practice. But to be honest, like I don't know exactly what's possible logistically, but that'll be most of our day, the second day. And then we're going to drive through the beautiful Grecian countryside all together on a bus, and then we arrive at a place called Mistros. And Mistros is inland, so it's not the island. So it's not like the Greek islands. It's not like Mykonos on vacation vibes. This is like in the mountains, and it feels more ancient. And it's actually on two ley lines, the Mother Mary ley line and the Artemis ley line. Now, Artemis is the Grecian goddess of the hunt. And Artemis was known to hunt by moonlight. And so she's an archer and she has a deer with her. And some people say that she is like almost like a Greek manifestation of Isis. She's very powerful, and I like that she hunts at night, and I like that she hunts by the full moon. But this place, it's called Euphoria, and it's on this intersection of the Mother Mary ley line and the Artemis ley line. It also happens to be next to the oldest Byzantine castle on the planet, which I've been to, and it's exquisite. There is outdoor yoga and outdoor hot tubs, and there's the most beautiful spa I have ever seen. So Euphoria is actually the #5 spa on the planet. I'm going to brag on Marina for a moment because she's become a really dear friend. She invited me to speak. She had a biohacking and longevity festival last summer. And I went there and I got to speak, and I got to lead a full moon ceremony in their outdoor amphitheater on the full moon, honoring Artemis. And it was so amazing. And Marina and I got to be friends. And then she just came to Egypt. And this place, like, Marina is really an exquisite human being. She was in banking and created amount of wealth for herself, and then got sick with cancer and went on a big healing journey, and then created Euphoria out of the healing modalities that she used to heal her own body, her own temple. And what is unique about this is not just its exquisiteness, but I don't know any other place that has been conceived of, designed, built, and funded by one woman. She has no investors. She has no board of directors. She has no one to answer to but herself. And there is a really pure transmission inside of that place. Her sister was the architect, and she has this beautiful crew of these like Greek crone witches that are just like rocking it out in the woods in Greece. And it's so amazing to be in that frequency. And Marina's best friend, Mary, is a really gifted healer and intuit. I don't want to speak to exactly her modalities because I don't know. I've not worked with her, but Marina and Mary, we would bring on as guest teachers to give us the transmission not only of this land, but of Greece. And I'm also this is not confirmed yet, but I've asked Layla to come on as a guest teacher as well, because Layla very much like inspired my first pilgrimage in Greece, and she's done so much research on it. And she's just also brilliant and knows so much about pleasure and these ancient lineages. And then we have a couple other really exciting invites out for guest teachers and speakers. I won't share until they're confirmed, but they're really exciting. So then the cool thing about this pilgrimage is that we're going to be in Euphoria at the #5 spa on the planet for 5 days. So it's going to be like much more restful. Those of you who are with me on Egypt, like God bless, but we were going from like sunrise to midnight. It was not a lot of sleep, and it was a lot of temples, and everyone was so brave, and it was so magical, but it was really hard work. And this one might be too. Like a pilgrimage is not a vacation. This is a pilgrimage, but I am doing my best to bring in a little bit more little bit more integration, a little bit more rest, a little bit more space. So we're gonna be, resting more and integrating more. And the beautiful thing about being in euphoria is that I'm going to have time to actually do more advanced practices, to do more initiations, and to weave together the Vedas with this ancient knowledge from Greece. And then we're going to leave Greece, and then we're going down to Delphi. And Delphi is like the umbilicus of the planet. It's like the umbilical cord of the planet. And in Delphi, they actually have a stadium there. There's a whole temple built to these oracles. Oh, and outside of Delphi, I just remembered, we're also going to go to Pan's cave. This is where Layla, those of you who listen to the podcast, Layla and I had like some really intense adventures in Pan's cave. Pan is like the Greek god. It's like the goat god. He's like the god of revelry and wine and debauchery and almost like hedonism. And the fun story about Pan is that he was the god that was the hardest for the church. And when the Catholics were sort of like taking over and paganism was being removed, Pan was the one god that they did not want to give up. They were like, no, you can take the others, but you can't take Pan, because he was the one that was like the most fun and the sexiest. And so that is actually how we got Satan. But there's no Satan in the Bible, by the way. They took Pan, the goat god with the horns and the hooves, and they turned him into Satan. So in case you're wondering why we all think pleasure is bad and why we hate our bodies and why we think that like, oh, we're all going to go to hell when we feel too good, there's a real active campaign to divorce us from our own divinity and pleasure. And so there's a reclamation that can happen when you go to this place. And by the way, it's one of them. It's like for thousands of years, people have been going and making offerings and doing rituals and doing ceremonies there. So, and you can't even drive to it. So we'll drive as close as we can, and then we have to hike up into it. So that'll be exciting. And then we'll leave Delphi, and then we'll drive back to Athens. And you can either stay and decompress on the Grecian islands, or you can fly home, but it'll be about an 8-day pilgrimage. And then after that, we have a whole nother month of the mastermind. So we'll keep meeting every other Wednesday at 1, continuing to digest in small groups. You'll have your own, they'll break you into small groups. You'll have your own guide, and we'll continue to teach the advanced practices and to like amplify our fractals of magic. And then the container closes, I think, on May 13th. Don't quote me on that, but all those dates are there. But basically 3-month mastermind, teaching advanced practices, with the climax and the pinnacle being in the middle, going to Greece, Athens, Eleusis, Mistros, and Delphi. So I'm going to pause there. I'd love to hear what questions you have. I'm sure many of you are asking about the price. How many participants? Thanks for asking, Christine. There is space for 30. So we up to 30. I don't know. It might be less than that. It might be, let's say, like 31 or something, but we have like rooms and accommodations enough for 30. And those of you who have been on retreats with me in the past, I'm very excited to say that both Rosa and Phoebe, who are inside of Ziva Magic, they are confirmed to join me as my co-facilitators and guides. They're amazing. They're both trauma-informed therapists and sex, love, and relationship coaches. Rosa has started the London School of Tantra, and we're a really good team. And I just put a request out yesterday to Jess Magic, who's one of my best friends and one of the best facilitators on the planet, to also come and hold space with me. So it's those pieces are still falling into place. So I don't want to promise things before they're set, but know that it's going to be a dream team. And yeah, Kristen, if you want to share the slides, that would be amazing. Oh, Natasha's saying I have 2 young children. I wonder if they could stay with my husband in Athens. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be great if you wanted to bring them. I don't think it would be appropriate to have children on this, because we would be doing, pleasure practices. It's long days, and it's possible, this is not confirmed, but it's possible that we might do at least one medicine ceremony. Oh, thanks. So basically, if you would like to see things in writing, we're gonna start with an at-home retreat. We're gonna do those advanced techniques. There will be a 3-month mastermind. So and I just, by the way, I just on Saturday graduated from Regina Thomashower's mastermind, and it was so exquisite. It was the biggest investment I've ever made in myself. And the level of pleasure that courses through my body now, the level of friendship and sisterhood that I got out of that, and the level of holding and love was like nothing I've ever experienced. And my biggest achievement in this mastermind was that I feel like I am a performer, right? Like I'm a Broadway performer. That's just who I am. But there's a fine line between performative and performer. And I feel like the piece of me that proves or that like pushes past that is like softening into the very internal part of myself. Like there's a deeper trust in who I am. And that is actually allowing my performance to be more true, more potent. So anyway, I'm just a shout out to masterminds that there's a level of transformation that happens in community that's very hard to happen in other places. So then we have the Greece pilgrimage. So I'm just naming, like, if you were to, get these on their own, this would be their prices. We've got the pilgrimage itself, which is going to be 5 days. The most beautiful spot, sauna, cold plunge. There's a Watsu temple. There's like this dome of a pool inside of Euphoria. And when you go underwater, you hear dolphins singing in your ears. And it's this indoor outdoor pool. She also has a full biohacking facility in the wellness center and one of the best gyms I've ever seen. And again, outdoor yoga, outdoor hot tub. You're going to get access to Ziva Magic. So those of you who have not done Ziva Magic, that will be included inside of this. Mastering the cities. So that's that is, well, actually, we'll do one. We might do 2 initiations. We might do 1 or 2. You might receive 1 or 2 sutras. But if you were to do that on its own, that would be the price. And then we're going to put you into small pods for smaller integration. So if you total all this up, this would be well over 30K if you were to do them individually. And then Kristen, do you want to go to the next slide? I don't know, is there another slide or is that it? Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, so this is our first time putting this together. So instead of doing 30K, we're offering this at 22. And then there is also a VIP package that is 25, and that includes a one-on-one with me. That includes private access to the Acropolis and 2 sessions of body work with these healers at Eleusis. Sorry, not Eleusis, at Euphoria. Yeah, so the base investment is 22. And for today, what we're doing today is that if you're like, this feels like, yes, I'd like to apply, I'd like to be one of these 30, then you can fill out the application. You can make your deposit, which is 5K, and then you can fill out the application. So we are going to do interviews and applications to make sure that each person in the container is a fit. This will be all genders. So just if that, some people really only want to be with one gender. So if that's the case, then there are plenty of all female masterminds. But this one's going to be all genders. My computer is coming unplugged. I would say that this pilgrimage is for people who want to, yes, invest in themselves. If you personally are like, yes, I want to step into my next evolution, my next incarnation, my next level of who I am, this will absolutely do this. But when I tune into this particular pilgrimage, it also feels like people who want to be of service to the planet, people who want to use their gifts to help to birth the new earth, that are like, yes, I want to be the most amazing version of me. And I want to bring this to my family. I want to bring this to my mission. I want to bring this to my art. I want to bring this to my industry. And I think that that's part of the magic of a mastermind, is that you not only receive the codes from the places and the temples, but you also receive the codes from each other. And quite practically, when you have a mastermind at this level, there's also just a level of networking and door opening and connections and ideation and reflection that often doesn't happen in other circles. I also think we're just really craving human connection. Oh, right. So for the first 15 people who that apply today, and the first 15 applications that are accepted, we're going to offer a one-on-one private session with me. So that could be, we'll prepare for it. So you'll have like a questionnaire that you'll fill out so that we're both really prepared. And then we can just dive in. Like, I go fast and I go hard. So it's like, we're not going to spend a lot of time like talking about your problems. I'm going to know those from your intake form. And then we're going to spend that time doing hot seat coaching or emotional clearing or frequency work. So it'll be different for every person. But for the first 15 people, you're going to receive a one-on-one with me. And yeah. Okay. So I'd love to know is there another slide? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. The VIP package. So if you're like, wait, I know I want to do VIP, that guarantees a one-on-one with me. That includes 2 bodywork sessions at Euphoria and priority accommodations on all of the spots of the pilgrimage. Then that's 25. And then the base is 22. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's helpful. So you can go to zivameditation.com/next level, and we'll put that code in, or that link, into the chat. Oh, that's a good question. I want to say yes, but I need to check on that because I think we might be doing a full, like getting the full space. But I imagine that there's a world where we could do that. But I think probably is the answer, but I would just want to tune in because it's going to feel like very much a sacred container. And so we want to make sure that the container feels held and protected. And so that because meal times and integration times, and maybe we're doing like half naked yoga in the woods, or, who knows how wild it's going to get. So I would just want to make sure that everyone on the property, if we do end up doing a full buyout of the Euphoria property, that it feels really held. So I think that's possible, but don't quote me on it. Okay, great. Yep. And by the way, some people are asking, is this like, could you do the pilgrimage and not the mastermind, or could you do the mastermind and not the pilgrimage? For this one, we really want it to be both. Like, I don't want anyone to come to Greece who's not been a part of the mastermind. And also, I think that it wouldn't be like much of the mastermind is going to be inspired by Greece, inspired by these locations. So a lot of the advanced teachings, the type of cities that I'll be teaching, the lectures will be inspired by this location. So for this one, we're going to try and make them like mutually exclusive. So if you do one, you do the other. We might shift that in the future because, we're experimenting and learning and growing, but this is sort of like an all or nothing. What about bringing someone and sharing a room? Yeah, so that would be possible if you wanted to bring a friend on the mastermind. Like if you both wanted to join the mastermind and both wanted to join the pilgrimage and you wanted to share a room, that would be possible. And, we're figuring out all of those details, but I think shared accommodations would be potentially a lower price point than having your own accommodation. But what we're trying to do is give everyone their own room. But I don't think it's going to be great to have people who aren't in the mastermind on the property. Like, I think it's going to want to feel very exclusive because we're going to be going deep into ceremony space, deep into pleasure practices. So like there might be an exception for someone's spouse, maybe, but I think it's going to feel better to just really be like just those people. Yeah, Genesis is saying, yeah, keep it tight. Keep it tight. Thank you. Saying I'm in another mastermind. How big of a time commitment will this be? I'm very interested. I can feel the depth of the work that is going to unfold. So Christine, I would say, so the time commitment, it's pretty much set. It's going to be the first meeting will be 2 hours, the opening ceremony, but after that, it'll be an hour and a half every other week. And then we're going to do the full day ceremony on that first Saturday. And then there will be, the 8 days. So I'd plan like, a day before, a day after. So the pilgrimage itself. And then every other Wednesday. That is what is set. Now it's possible I throw in, like, I want to bring in a friend or I want to bring in a guest teacher. You're also going to have time to meet in your small groups and with your guides and in your pods. So I would probably allocate like an hour and a half a week for those 3 months, because in the weeks that we're not meeting, there will be some at-home homework or some times that you'd be meeting with your partner. The plan as of right now is 1 p.m. every other Wednesday. Deborah's saying, what is involved in completing Ziva 1 and 2? And is that required before 3? Deborah, great question. So yes, everyone would be required to complete basically Ziva Online. As the courses exist now, it would be Ziva Online and Ziva Magic. Ziva Online is 15 minutes a day for 15 days, and that gives you your own meditation practice. And that is going to be paramount to you regulating your nervous system and having really beautiful stress relieving tools and ways to plug you into your own divinity. And that's sort of like the best place to start. That's like the foundational practice. The level 2 would essentially be Ziva Magic. And that is, in its totality, it's a 10-week course, but you can do like, there's 2 weeks of that as integration. There's 2 weeks that are actually time off. So I think really it's like minimum viable product. It would be about 6 weeks. So I think you'd want to allow at least 8 weeks of preparation to do it at a great pace and to really integrate the learnings and to let them build on top of each other. You'd want to have about 8 weeks of doing level 1 and level 2 before you begin. So you'd want to start in January. So like January, February, you're doing Ziva meditation, you're doing Ziva magic. And then starting in March, you'd be ready to rock and ready for the pilgrimage. So those of you who know you're ready to go deeper, and if you're ready to like put your deposit in, and we're going to go in order for like both the private one-on-ones with me, which are usually $1,000 for an hour. You'll get the first 15 applications that are approved. You can go to zivameditation.com/next level. You can put your deposit there, and then we're going to send out the applications very soon. Okay, so Natasha's saying, yeah, deposit is 5K. And then the rest, we'll have a pay in full. We'll also have payment plan options. You can likely start the payment plan. We'll probably get out that full link starting next week. Christine saying, Emily, you're truly glowing multidimensionally. I can feel the shift since your Egypt experience. Yeah, Egypt was profound. It was some of the biggest medicine of my life by a lot. And both the light and the shadow. And the thing that I'll say, and this is both an inspiration and a warning, like these pilgrimages are not vacations. Okay, this is not a vacation. It's a pilgrimage. And there will be so much light and so much divinity and so much joy and so much magic. And the more light you bring in, the longer your shadow, the bigger your shadow. And so just know that all of this glowing and all this light that is happening right now is a direct result of me facing my shadow right in the face and making mistakes and messing up and having to sit with that and learning to love myself anyway, and to ask for forgiveness and to say that I'm sorry and to look at my darkness. And so all of that is part of this pilgrimage. So while it might look real shiny right now, just know that there have been many days of tears, many days of asking for forgiveness. And I've learned a lot. Like, this Egypt group is so brave and so amazing. And they've been so gracious with me because I am a quintuple Aries. Okay. So I am fiery. I am hot. I like to go hard and fast. So I'm just naming that I've learned some lessons, and I'm bringing on more trauma-informed therapists. I am bringing on more support. We are going to have a tighter container, and we are going to feel so held, and not by me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be holding the beacon, but I am going to create a beautiful network so that we have time to integrate in small groups so that you feel held by other guides. And I'm really excited about creating that architecture as well. Yes, Deborah's saying this is exactly where I am aligned now. Flora's saying she's also a quadruple Aries. Okay, so Flora, just be careful. Like, we should be careful when we're in the same room together so we don't burst into flames. We have done one other mastermind. It was called Evidence of Magic, and it was amazing. It was 6 months. And that was 25K for the 6-month mastermind. So that's sort of how we've priced this one as well. It'd be like essentially like 13K for 3 months. And then the retreat itself, the pilgrimage itself, would be about 13K. So that's how we're getting to, like, we normally, and probably our next one will be 30. But because this is our first one, because I'm learning, we're dropping that to 22. And again, for today, if you're like, I know I want to get this one-on-one with Emily, you can just go ahead and put your deposit, and then we'll send out the application. So some people are asking about the other facilitators who I mentioned. One is named Rosa Maxwell, and the other one is named Phoebe Rayner. And they've been with me on now like 4 or 5 retreats. So we've become like a real dream team. And I have requests out to Just Magic. We're not confirmed there yet. And then I have some other like dream people that I'm interested in bringing in. I think we had 1,000, just FYI, we had 1,000 people sign up for this event today, which is awesome. And there are 30 spots. So the first 15 people who put their deposit and apply, and whose applications are approved, you're going to get a one-on-one with me. And then if you want to do the VIP, if you're like, I don't want to worry about like being the first 15, I know I want that. And if you want priority accommodations, and if you want to get 2 additional body work sessions at Euphoria, then you can do the VIP, but all that'll be coming soon. Okay, for the first 15 people, yep. Is Ziva Meditation for Kids still available to buy? It sure is. You can go to zivameditation.com/kids, Allison. And actually, my son's teacher is bringing it into his 2nd grade class this week. I'm so excited about it. So if you want to bring it into a class, let me know. Kristen's asking what's the total cost for the mastermind and the pilgrimage. And magic, it's 22. So the base cost is 22,000. That is the 3-month mastermind, the at-home retreat, the pilgrimage. And then, Kristen, that's correct. You would need to get yourself to Athens. So we're going to start and end in Athens, Greece. Rosemary agrees with what I said about AI. Augustine, where do you think you're getting all the transmissions and downloads from? Well, do you mean in relationship to Greece and the temples, or in general? I'd love to know a little bit more about that question. Christine saying, I look forward to the application process. Yeah, I mean, even the application process itself, is fun, and it's going to be like its own exercise, because I'm going to be talking to you about your dreams and your blocks and where you feel lit up and what your big mission is and how this mastermind can amplify that mission. So Allison saying, how much is just the at-home 3-month course? So for right now, it's all or nothing. So it's like it's the mastermind and the pilgrimage together. We're not offering them separately right now. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, Jean, this light is really doing. I also got some blonde highlights, so I feel like the sun is really, really working for us. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right, should we dance out? Kristen, will you DJ for us one more time? Will you put on Golden? And yeah, those of you who are ready, you can just go to zivameditation.com/next level. And I'm so excited to see y'all in Greece in April. It's gonna be so good. We're getting our peacocks back together. There we go. If you'll just crank that music. Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived 2 lives, tried to take both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. We're gonna dance and breathe, see the magic and breathe. Now that's how I'm getting paid. Cause I see on stage, I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm gonna be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, it's our moment. You know the kind that we're going. Gonna be golden. Our voices. You only get this so often. Gonna be golden. Thank you all so much for joining me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Let's dance it out. Sending some love to the whole planet. Remembering your body as a temple. No more hiding.